Welcome back and happy Tuesday. This week we're going to be talking about the future of gaming through the lens of blockchain, and you will meet this inspiring woman next to me very shortly. To give you some background, the global audience for esports is 454 million participants worldwide, and it's growing by 11% each year. To put that in context, that's more than the population of the United States. One example, Fortnite, which many of you probably are aware of, made $2.4 billion in revenue last year. And that's in 1 year alone. That's the most that any studio's ever made in a year. This is very impressive, and they did this through selling in-game assets. The problem with in-game assets is that users don't actually own the items they are buying. As a gamer myself, I know this problem and getting beautiful skins and everything else that I love, and then the game is over and I no longer have those skins. So one next generation game studio thinks that they have the solution for this challenge. Please meet Marguerite de Courcelles, founder and CEO of Blockade Games. I had the distinct pleasure of being a lead mentor for Marguerite through the Techstars Alchemist Accelerator, and I was incredibly moved by her and the team and what they're doing, and so I'm super excited for you to meet her as well as we're sitting here in Bryant Park. So Marguerite, thank you for coming.
Thanks, Scarlett.
And tell me a little bit about how you and the Blockade Games team is thinking about solving the problem of ownership in in-game assets.
Sure. So for the first time ever, blockchain allows us to basically merge this, how we feel about physical collectibles for digital collectibles.
Right.
So if you think about like a Mario in a box, right, and how it just sat on a shelf, it didn't actually become more valuable as an object on its own, but with your Fortnite skins, they could actually become more valuable now. You purchase your season assets,
Yep.
You play with them, through the gameplay they become more valuable, and you own them, so then you could trade them if you want to, get something new, or, but so how we're doing this is basically through blockchain technology.
Interesting. So you have had, the game isn't even released yet, the first one,
Right.
the main title, Neon District, which I got a really cool shirt for that, by the way. But that's not even released yet, but tell me, what has the traction been like to this point? Because it seems like people have really been connecting with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So we just recently had a founder sale in which we grossed $130,000 in just 2 weeks. And that's people buying these collectible founders assets that they are playing the game with. And so for the rest of the game's history, and even the game company's history, anybody that owns these assets will be basically an OG of Blockade Games.
Right.
So, and that in addition, so because of this psychology of owning the asset, users are spending more. So we saw $220 average user spend.
Wow.
And that's 10 times more than industry average.
Yeah, so to put that in context, what is the average spend for like a game like Fortnite, which them themselves are an anomaly, right?
Right.
So what were they like in comparison?
Right, so our user spend was 3 times more than Fortnite.
Fortnite and 10 times
More than industry average. Yeah.
Very interesting. So why do you think that now, I mean, you've been in the gaming industry for a long time, you're a celebrity in this world. Why do you think now is the time for Blockade and what you guys are doing?
We're actually just seeing the serious veteran game developers are starting to move into the space. And that's because it's exciting and creative, and the layer 2 technology for around blockchain that's been developed, the dev tools are being developed, so now the game developers are actually allowed to come in and build. And our blockchain engineers and expertise, they don't actually know how to build these mainstream industry game titles, which require actually a depth of knowledge to understand past history mistakes that the game industry has already learned.
Right.
So instead of reinventing the wheel, it's better to team up with the actual game space and use the blockchain technology to create this new industry.
It's fascinating. Yeah. It's fascinating. So if you would like to hear more about Marguerite's background, and by the way, it is super interesting. Some of these things, I've known her for a fair amount of time now, and some of these things I never knew. Please click the link below and you can watch the full video on YouTube. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
and until